we talk about here. Tell us what you think of it by joining our book club on Instagram. You can follow us at all one word, A Good Read BBC. For now, though, a massive thank you to my guests, Geetha Lodge and Tobias Menzies, and to you, as always.
The politics of chaos. Bob May is currently practicing what he preaches. Or perhaps I should say Lord May of Oxford, as I was corrected by a man in a top hat who greeted me at the door to Peer's entrance of the House of Lords. May has in recent years combined his scientific endeavors with energetic political activism. He now sits as a class party member of the House of Lords, which is where I popped in for a lunch to find out how he was doing in his mission to alert politicians to the impact of the chaotic system on the society. You showered through the Peer's entrance to the Lords by the man in the top hat and the policeman with the machine guns. I found May waiting for me on the other side of the metal detectors and X-ray machines. May has no track with all these formal titles and in his earthly Australian manner still insists on being called Bob. I'm afraid I messed up and already ate lunch, but I will come and eat cake while you get some lunch. As I ate fish, he consumed an enormous piece of the House of Lords chocolate cake. At 79, May is as energetic and engaged as ever and was rushing off after his second lunch to a select committee discussing the impact of the new rail link between London and northwest of England. Before joining the Lords, May was chief scientific advisor both to John Major's Conservative government and then subsequently to Tony Blair's Labour government. I wondered how tricky a balancing act such a political position is for a man who generally is not scared to tell it like it is. At the interview, I was told that there would be an occasion where I would be called upon to defend the decisions of the minister, and how would I feel about that? I said that I would never under any circumstances deny a fact. On the other hand, I'm fairly good at the kind of the debating competition where you are giving a topic and according to a flip of the coin, you've got to argue for either side of the debate. So I said, I would be happy explaining why the minister's choice was arrived at. I simply wouldn't agree to endorse if it wasn't right. A typical mathematical response: set up the minister's axiomisms, right? Set up the minister's axioms and then demonstrate the proof that led to the conclusion. A judgment-free approach. That's judgment-free approach, right? That's not to say that May isn't opinionated and prepared to give his own views on the subject at hand. I was curious how governments deal with the problem that chaos theory creates for anyone trying to make policy decisions. How do politicians cope with the challenges of predicting or manipulating the future, given that we can have only a partial knowledge of the system being analyzed? I think that's a rather flattering account of what goes on here, with some notable exception. It's mostly a bunch of very egotistical people, very ambitious people who are primarily interested in their own careers. Okay.
That you wanted to explore?
Well, I'm constantly met with this superficial interest in acting. Dead Poets Society came out when I was 18, and so I bumped into society's fascination, hatred, interest, disinterest, but somehow obsessive relationship to the culture around celebrity. And when you're placed inside it at a very young age, demystifying it became interesting to me because it made me feel human. It's funny reading that section out loud. I feel a little embarrassed that I've written this book. Not that I don't like the writing or anything, but I can't believe that
I think that's a rather flattering account of what goes on here. With some notable exceptions, it's mostly a bunch of very egotistical people, very ambitious people who are primarily interested in their own careers. What about May personally? What impact did the discoveries he had made on his view of the science role in society? It was weird. It was the end of the Newtonian dream. When I was a graduate student, it was thought that with better and better computer power, we would get better and better weather predictions. Weather predictions, better weather predictions, because we knew the equations and we could make more realistic model of the Earth. But May is cautious not to let the climate change deniers use chaos theory as a way to undermine the debate. Not believing in a climate change because you can't trust weather report is a bit like saying that because you can't tell when the next wave is going to break on the Bondi beach, you don't believe in tides. May likes to quote a passage from the Tom Stoppard's play Arcadia to illustrate the strange tension that exists between the power of science to know some things with extraordinary accuracy and chaos theory, which denies us knowledge of the many parts of the natural world. One of the protagonists, Valentin, declares, "We are better at predicting events at the edge of the galaxy or inside the nucleus of an atom than whether it will rain on Auntie's garden party three Sundays from now." Yes. May jokes that his most cited works are not the high-profile academic papers he's published in the prestigious scientific journals like Nature, but the program notes he wrote for Stoppard's play when it was first staged at the National Theatre in London. It makes a mockery of all these citation indexes as a way of measuring the impact of the scientific research. Okay.
Was Ethan Hawke trying to see as if the fiction was a smoke screen that I was somehow hiding behind and not